All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the second episode of what we are now calling the Dead Box Podcast.
Not yet copyright.
Dead,
Not yet trademarked.
Dead
So
Box is the name we came up with, right?
yeah, that is a tentative name for now.
Yeah, yeah. Now it is. As of now. So in today's podcast video, we are going to be talking about how the pandemic, COVID-19, has affected the airsoft world.
Oh, it's affected it all right.
Yes. Just different things from product to how it affected us personally. So I think the first thing that we should talk about, I have cliff notes right here.
Wait, but before we get into the meat and potatoes, why don't we all go around introducing ourselves and what we do at GI?
Oh, sure. All right. I guess I will start. My name is Cisco. Some of you might know me as Thick Daddy Cisco. I am the marketing manager, storefront manager, purchasing,
You are the
shipping.
glue that holds this company together.
Yeah, I do. I work in like every department here, and yes.
Nice. Well, I'm Kevin, also known as the Speedy Boy, and I take pictures. That's it.
He helps out with social media too, and does a little bit of coding on the website.
But mainly pictures.
Mainly the pretty boy.
And I'm Boaz. I am the videographer and the editor of the YouTube channel. I also help manage social media as well as answering DMs. So most of the time, if you guys are going to send us a DM, the first person you're going to talk to is probably going to be me.
Disguised as me.
Disguised as him. It's just easier that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, so today I'm going to be actively also monitoring our conversation as well as monitoring our audio. So I'll either tell you guys to either speak up or shut up.
Yes. Also, before we get started into the topics, if you want to support the channel, go ahead and head over to Airsoft GI and pick up all your airsoft needs. They got guns, gear, BBs, green gas, all the essentials that you need to get out and play. Supporting them supports us, makes us able to create content like this for you guys to enjoy. Again, this is a podcast style, so this is for you to, tech on a gun or do some homework and just let our soothing voices soothe you. All right, so COVID-19. I think the biggest thing that the pandemic did was, at least in America, restricted a lot of stores from opening, shipping, creating a whole bunch of, or like fulfilling orders is what I'm trying to say. With all of the restrictions of quarantine happening in different areas of the United States, Airsoft GI, we were forced to send a lot of our employees home, but there were a handful of us that stayed behind, risking our own health, and me being one. Boaz is one as well. Kevin, he got to sit at home. But during the pandemic, I helped out with shipping and trying to bring in product, and we still continued doing videos to keep you guys entertained because we knew that, being stuck at home, after a few days gets really... what's the correct word I'm looking for?
Makes you all cabin fever.
Yes.
Cabin fever. That's the word.
When I hear cabin fever, I think of something completely different.
Or like stir crazy.
Yes. Okay. There it is. So yeah. So because of this, we definitely fell behind on orders, as a lot of airsoft companies did, and product became quickly scarce after a few months because everyone was stuck at home, and stimulus checks coming in and stuff. A lot of people were hobby buying, so we did see an increase of airsoft guns being shipped to areas that weren't getting shipped to normally. Because I think it's fair to say that specific counties or areas we would see a lot more orders going to because there were active players constantly going out. But then the far corner of Kansas or the middle of Mississippi, we would see orders getting sent there, And I think that's a really good thing because it helped airsoft grow in a sense. Even if people were using airsoft for firearms training, which we've covered on the channel, and just backyard plinking around shooting, like target shooting with friends and family just to pass time. It was a really cool way to get more exposure for airsoft in a sense.
All right, so what a speech that was. Cisco, I'm gonna have to ask you to move your mic very close to your mouth because it is a lavalier mic. We are kind of doing with this setup. Hopefully it'll grow.
My microphone
so put that
is a
suppressor near
suppressor.
your mouth. Yeah, there you go.
It's like this.
Okay,
Yes.
so why don't we actually? So you covered a lot of topics here, Cisco, about things that generally happened during the pandemic. So one thing that I would like to explore is breaking down sort of like the industry of airsoft and how that works and how exactly COVID was affecting that.
Okay.
So if you guys haven't seen Airsoftology's video about how COVID-19 did affect airsoft, he actually made a pretty good video detailing about how the industry itself works. But to basically reiterate, there are basically three separate, I guess, entities, if you will. In the industry.
Yes.
So you have the retail, which is where most of you guys would go to buy your product.
Yeah, like us,
And
Airsoft
then-
GI.
Yeah, and then when you go up, you have distribution or the supply chain. So those are the guys that generally they have huge warehouses that store a lot of goods, not necessarily even airsoft, but just in general. Just big warehouses that store stuff, and they are sort of like the middlemen. So they basically go. So a lot of retailers purchase from the distributors, and then they get shipped. So shipping and distribution, right? So you have the people that are driving or sailing.
Yes.
I don't know.
Shit,
Giant
yeah.
cargo ships, airplanes, right? Truck drivers, and these warehouses, and then you have manufacturing, which
Yep.
are the actual factories overseas. So if you guys don't know, airsoft, pretty much like 90% of it is from overseas.
Yes,
Whether it's from
specifically China.
Yeah, China, Taiwan, Japan. Those are like the main big three countries that produce the actual materials for airsoft. And that's also the reason why airsoft products are affordable. They're cheap.
Yep.
It's because it's well, if it were to be made in the U.S., it'd be way, way expensive. So
Definitely.
due to COVID-19, just like all the other countries, including the U.S., right, like working or just going to work for the most part has halted. Especially in these overseas countries, they've been a lot more strict
Yep.
when it comes to that. So I know in the U.S., most states, they did like the essential workers only type of deal. But especially in like China's case, they were far stricter. So a lot of
Yes.
so a lot of the factories, unfortunately, they're forced to shut down, and so nothing was being made. So it wasn't like there was a shortage of like raw material. There wasn't any shortage of like the plastics or the metals.
Yeah.
It's just nobody was really at the factory turning that plastic and metal into airsoft parts or airsoft guns, and so that's the reason why there was kind of that shortage, which is why you guys noticed on your end a lot of retailers, U.S. side, right, they're out of stock. A lot of products is because no products were coming in. And then also, even if there were product that was being shipped, no one was really there to ship it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also the warehouse workers or the distribution warehouses and stuff that we work with, right? A lot of these guys, they were also very limited in staff or
Yes.
even staffed at all. So that, unfortunately, that was kind of like the reality during the pandemic. But also now that we're starting to recover from that, you know, like how is the industry recovering, so to say. So in overseas right now, things are starting to pick back up. So factories are starting to churn out product and stuff.
Yep.
Not just airsoft stuff, but like in general, as a country like China's industry. I'm not too familiar on how it works, but from what we've been told is that because airsoft is not considered like a very high priority, like essential
Yes.
thing to be produced, when it comes to allocating raw material to them, they're kind of lower on the priority list.
Yes.
So even now, we're still seeing the effects of the pandemic because there's so many other industries that require the same materials as airsoft does.
Yep.
And they're the ones that get the first pick of the raw material, raw goods.
Yes.
And so unfortunately, that kind of sucks. And even right now, shipping right now is very limited in quantity. So we're seeing a lot of they're trying to do a lot of bulk shipments from overseas, but also fewer shipments in general. So even now that's happening. And also we know that some manufacturers and stuff like are starting to airship.
Yes, that has actually recently reopened.
Yeah, so airship their products in bulk, of course. Yeah, to
which is
the
more
US.
expensive, by the way.
Yeah, which is more expensive. And even traditional cargo shipping is also getting more expensive. And so with that being said, once it gets to the U.S., it has to clear U.S. customs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that maybe a lot of you guys might not, I guess, kind of take into consideration.
Yes.
But everything that comes into the U.S. from an outside country has to be cleared for customs to make sure that what we're bringing in is legal.
Yes.
Or if there's any special taxes. That
Not
we have
just
to pay
us,
on it.
but like the distributors.
Yeah. So basically, the ports right now, especially our local port in California, which is the port of Long Beach, which is actually where we get most of our shipments from.
Yep.
Or the distributors get their shipments from. They're actually very backed up right now. So there are fewer employees working the docks, which means that there are more, right? There are going to be more containers
That need to get inspected.
Yeah, lined up, and waiting for inspection. So it's going to take some time, which is why some companies like KWA, like they have received shipments that came to the U.S. and currently they're waiting on customs. Same with G&G, like the PCC 45,
Yes.
the CMF 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are all new guns that have actually arrived in the U.S., but they're still awaiting the U.S. government to inspect it, basically.
Yeah.
Which is why there is some delay. I think the unfortunate news, though, when it comes to airsoft, is there may be a price increase because shipping has gotten more expensive.
Well, not only that, but different tariffs that have happened. We saw a tariff increase in 2020, which caused majority of airsoft products, goods, to slightly increase to compensate for the taxes that the manufacturers have to pay. One thing that I'd like to note to the shipping situation is that early 2020 to mid 2020, manufacturers were still filling orders from their distributors from 2019. Like they had placed orders ahead of time to get them made, get them, secure it and get it shipped out. So when we got restock orders from KWA, G&G, Classic Army, you were seeing products that were already in existence and not too many new products. And that's why when like G&G, for instance, even KWA, like the Ronin T10 or the CMF 16, those both came out middle to like fall-ish, summer to fall-ish of 2020, and they had a decent stock or quantity of it until it sold out. Then it's just, where did it go, right? And because of those back orders from the manufacturer to distributor side, it took more time to make the newer products as well. So then, they have to circling back to, the raw materials and the lack of employees. They are just starting to catch up on the demand that has been requested from stores, retailers and stores, the same thing, but distributors and stuff. So
yeah, so hopefully by fall or winter, hopefully when things, if they do, start to open back up more and we kind of go back to being normal, so to say, hopefully the airsoft industry itself, when it comes to providing products to you guys, hopefully that will be also returning to normal.
Yeah, one thing about like the manufacturers overseas that I'd like to note on is that toward the beginning of the pandemic, majority of manufacturers are in China, some in Hong Kong. And if you don't remember, there was the whole
giant,
I don't know, civil
protest.
war.
Yeah. A lot of civil turmoil.
Yes, exactly. Happened toward the beginning of the year. And that put a halt before COVID even happened. So it is very unfortunate. Some of the companies have relocated and have made do with what they have. And now, since the year has gone by, we have seen more products start to come in, which is really good. Even from the retailer side, we see people, when are you going to get this in stock? When are you going to get this in stock? And it sucks to say when we don't have an ETA for different products, because sometimes we don't know. I talk to KWA and G&G frequently, and I
And
believe
they don't even know.
yeah, like I've talked to KWA, and we pre-ordered the T10s and more of the QRF series end of last year, beginning of this year, and they were expecting it like a few months ago, and I think they're now just getting, or might be in the process of receiving their inventory. So yeah, just need to talk on that. Kevin, you've been a little quiet. You good over there?
Oh no, you guys just like to talk.
Oh, okay, all right then. So then I'll bring you in with how COVID has affected airsoft locally in terms of the fields, how people can actually go out and play.
Yeah, so at least in my perspective, when airsoft was still under lockdown,
Yes.
fields were all closed, obviously. But once they started easing on the restrictions, most of the outdoor fields started opening up because the loophole where COVID doesn't spread if you're outside.
Oh yes, yes.
Not to throw shade or anything, but apparently that's how it was. So when outdoor fields started opening up, it was great to see because a lot of outdoor fields were starting to lose a lot of business, obviously, because they
Yes.
make their business when players come and play. So when COVID was affecting them, they had to make up for that. And as soon as the state said, "Hey, you guys can start accepting players," like people were flooding the fields. I'm talking like people were itching to get back on the field, me included. And I'm not even an outdoor player.
Yes.
So it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because when COVID happened, it forced me to become an outdoor player, and it opened up a whole new world for me, as you guys can see from previous videos from my outdoor loadout and everything.
Yep.
But also I think it kind of pushed people to go out and play, because they didn't have the option to play during COVID. Like Boaz was saying, people were getting stir crazy, cabin fever, whatever. They wanted to go out and actually start playing again. And personally, I know a lot of people that before COVID happened, they were kind of getting burnt out from airsoft. They were kind of losing the flame. They were kind of phasing out. And then after COVID happened and fields started opening back up, I'm starting to see a lot of players that were basically going to quit pre-COVID, come back and like have a renewed flame and interest in airsoft, which is great to see, because we need those players to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically make up for last year's debacle. And now that indoor fields are starting to open up too, people are coming back. Fields are starting to implement new ideas, new ways to rope players back in. So I do think while COVID did have a negative impact overall, there were some positive impacts that were put in play from everything going on.
Speaking about positive, so what did GI do during the pandemic, or to make best of that situation?
Okay, so during the beginning of the pandemic, up until restrictions started to ease off, we had to switch to online sales only. So
Gotta put that mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to be right here. So our stores, unfortunately, were closed down for a little bit, but we continued to have online sales, or like offer online orders, so people can still get their orders shipped out. And then we had like free shipping and coupon codes and stuff to help ease the price for the customer to be able to afford it a little bit better. Then we offered will call in our stores. So if you were local to the area, instead of waiting to get it shipped to you and paying for shipping, you can set your order to will call, and then you could buy it for the regular price, or even with like a discount code, and then you could set it to will call, so you could pick it up and not pay for shipping, and then get your stuff within like 1 to 2 days whenever we were able to fill the order. Now again, we had to restrict the amount of employees that were here because of the restrictions put on by our county. So we had 5 people max during that time, and me included. Like, I was busting ass trying to get orders shipped, pulled, while also trying to juggle us making videos still and managing social media as best as we could. And not only that, we started carrying the PPE products, the personal protective equipment. So gloves, the face masks, the face shields, the actual, like, those old Asian visors.
Yeah, and then we also had like the hand sanitizer.
The hand
and
sanitizers.
Antiseptic.
Yeah, we also carried toilet paper. If you guys remember,
Oh my god.
toilet paper being.
Bricks of gold, dude.
Oh my goodness.
We actually, so I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, when we all were working at the same time during COVID, people were coming in buying toilet paper.
Yeah, it was a trip. I remember I
was
posted
so
it.
Strange, because we posted it. We were like, you know, we have an excess amount of toilet paper. Like, some people kind of need it.
Yeah.
I remember you posted it, and then literally 20 minutes later, some dude walked in. He's like, "Y'all got any toilet paper?" And
For
I
real.
was like, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
This is wild.
I thought
It
that
is
was a trip.
surreal.
Yeah, very, because it was at that point. And if you guys remember, like, I remember going to Stater Brothers. It's a grocery store. I don't know if it's local to California, but I went there the day before they announced the quarantine, and it was stocked, full, complete. And I was very nitpicky with my budget, so
Oh, I thought you were gonna say nitpicky with your toilet paper.
no,
Double
no.
Charmin exclusive.
You know, it's charming. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I was very, like, I didn't want to spend too much money on groceries, so I was just like, okay, let me just grab some of the essentials really quick, something to make dinner tonight, and then I'll come back tomorrow and buy more. Yeah, I literally went back the next day. That morning they announced the quarantine, and I got off of work around 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and I went straight to the grocery store, and it was cleared out. It was like the business was going out of stock. It was so crazy, because I was like, it can't be that bad. It can't be. And then, like, Top Ramen gone, all the canned vegetables, soups, pastas, rice, all the meats, the vegetables, everything was gone. The only thing that they had left were like shampoos and stuff. It was ridiculous. By the time I got there, all the bottled water was sold out, and they only had the gallons of distilled water, and they were limiting that to one bottle a person. I was like, this is crazy. And it shows that, like, how unprepared a lot of people are, because we live in a time of convenience, right?
You know what's funny though is that inadvertently, like, even though everybody was overreacting, Airsoft GI as a business, people were preparing for doomsday. I think
Yes.
what was happening was our biggest sellers during COVID was actually like tack gear.
Yes, that is actually correct. We
Yeah,
sold,
we had tons of
Yeah.
shipment coming in from Condor.
yeah, Condor, NC Star. We sold like thousands, like maybe even like hundreds of thousands of chest rigs, plate carriers.
And that was also the time that we started carrying actual real body armor, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys actually don't know, under our plate care section, we sell real body armor.
Yes, through Vism. Questionable. Maybe I can get a set of plates from Vism so we can test them out. Vism?
Well, they
anybody
actually
watching?
have videos online.
Oh, do they
of
really?
them, yeah, actually shooting their plates. Yeah, so I mean, it's not officially NIJ certified, but I mean, tons of companies are not. But hey, we have them. But, like, I would consider picking some up just as a backup. Like, if I
That's like
worst case scenario, if I were to get shot.
That's like the backup to the backup.
Yeah.
To the backup.
Yeah, but
To the
But we
backup.
have it. Yeah, we have it. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And so with us offering PPE products both online and available for will call, so you can pick it up, the owners of Airsoft GI were actually just like super cool, because they were just like, we need to, because we have access to this. Some of the people and some of the companies like around us don't have access to it, so they donated a whole bunch of of supplies to our local sheriff's department and some of the local hospitals out here when there was a shortage. And it was crazy. Like, it was really cool that, that they did that just to help out and, just give back to the community in a way, because, those are the people that were helping us. They were keeping us safe. The hospitals directly, anyone that had COVID, they were getting treated as fast as possible, as soon as possible. So really cool for them to offer that. We have back to the cliff notes. Let's talk about the increase of backyard shooting. So as I said before, we saw a spike of sales in 2020 to different places in the U.S. And because people, like, not everyone has access to a field, right? Especially in, like, the suburbs of America, where it's more like open land, more farm area. They don't have that luxury. So people just started, like, going out to the forest or backyard, like setting up targets, like what we've been doing. Plinking is the correct term. I think it's really cool because it kind of opened our eyes in a way of just another thing that you could do with airsoft, because I think we were focused on. Yes.
Yeah, so I think what is very interesting, actually, a fact that's very interesting that maybe some of you guys don't know, is majority of BB guns, airsoft guns that are sold in the U.S., majority of them do not actually see an airsoft field.
Yep.
So
surprising.
Yeah, so I think it's very interesting that we exist in a niche market, right, where we have like airsoft in general, and then we're in this niche where we participate in a hobby where we shoot each other.
Yes.
So one thing I would definitely say about quarantine or the pandemic is that, like you said, it did open our eyes.
Yep.
To going back to the basics, shooting cans, shooting targets, whatnot, and I forgot how fun that was. Like, even if you just get like a couple of buddies, you guys like drink like a 6-pack of soda or adult beverages if you are of age.
Yes.
And
drink responsibly, kids.
Yeah, and kids. And so after you guys like have your soda, maybe even like you dig up your recycle bin, you pick up like 6 cans or whatnot, you line them up, and then you have like you and a friend kind of like compete against each other to shoot down the cans as fast as possible. Like, I forgot how fun that was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that like I've done like even before I started playing at a field, right? Like when I bought my first airsoft gun, it was actually at Airsoft GI when I was like 13 years old.
A wee lad.
Yeah, and I picked up a tan CM16 Raider, and I would set up cans in my backyard and I'd just shoot them.
Same.
What's funny though is that even though people are starting to do that more as just for fun, not shooting each other, it actually like low key bridges the gap between our childhood shooting cans into real steel shooting.
Yes.
When you're an adult.
Very true.
And actually, plinking, some people, yes, they do it for fun, but others, they do plinking for like training.
Yes.
As an alternative, because as you know, the ammo shortage that is happening right now.
So expensive.
Yeah. Ammo is super expensive, but you know what ammo is not expensive? Airsoft.
BBs. 5,000 count for like 10-ish bucks.
So it's interesting to see that even though we did do plinking back in the day, we're starting to do it now, but a little bit more seriously.
Yes, definitely.
As a training tool.
Yes. And I see it from you a little bit more, but I was able to go to a USPSA competition through one of the owners of the distributors out here. He invited me out, and I got to compete against, I think, 90-ish people. And surprisingly, I came in like 70th place. So I wasn't the worst. Not last place. That was the goal. To not be last place. But these guys, they are like crazy good. And the guy that actually came in second place for the whole day, he started out with Airsoft.
That's what
I'm saying. And he's sponsored by a whole bunch of different companies, but the biggest one that I remember was Terran Tactical. Wow. Yeah, it was on his logo. I was talking to him about it. It's so cool because now that I experienced that, I thought, okay, like I tried to do like the dry fire draw repetitions, and then I would shoot cans to see how it would, just a target shoot, work on my muscle movement and the flow of it. But once you're there and you're in it and you're playing it, it's such a different beast compared to just skirmishes that we normally play. Because
it makes you think though, like the next best like USPSA shooter is probably some kid shooting airsoft.
yeah, oh, I 100% believe that.
100% believe that.
Yeah, I mean Kevin, like, because I was talking to him about it. No, I was talking to him about it, and I believe Kevin would excel in competition shooting, just because he is fundamentally a competitive guy, and as a Speedsoft player, or Speed QB player, not Speedsofter, sorry, he loves that competition to try to come out on top. And even when we do like the time shootings in the backyard and stuff, he's always putting maximum effort into it versus like
maximum.
Me. Yeah,
Plus ultra.
the chimichangas. But yeah, I see you like even when we're not being serious, you are making the effort to make it a useful time.
Yeah, I will say I do like that aspect of shooting, like the competitive nature, not just shooting each other.
Yes, airsoft. With airsoft.
Airsoft. But yeah, being with the USPSA, it is very, very expensive.
Yes.
So that's why I think I can push myself in airsoft, because I can't do it in real life.
Yes.
It costs a fortune.
Yes.
So that's why anytime I find myself in a situation where I can push myself to the limit and like find ways to improve, like that for me is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I will say that I wish I got started in USPSA years ago when 9mm was like 10 to 15 cents and not.
Was it really that cheap?
Yeah, it was so cheap. You could buy a box of like 50.
No, but you were there because the times that we would go out on our little desert shooting trips, right before the ammo shortage. Yeah, like the ammo was plentiful. Yeah, we were.
Yeah. Well, even at that time, I
mag
think it was
dumping was a-okay back then.
Well, even when we went, I think ammo was like maybe like 20 to 25 cents. Still a little expensive, but now it's like, well, when I bought ammo, I bought like $1,000 worth of ammo. 9mm was at about average across the U.S. was like 50 to 55 cents, and I got it for like 45 or 47 cents. So I came up a little bit, but it was plus P ammo. So still
but
expensive.
now are you finding yourself practicing more with airsoft? You know, using your G series pistols.
I have the Elite Force Glock.
The Glock platform. You find yourself using it more?
I do, and luckily I have the CO2 one, so it does offer more feedback. Of course, it's nothing like a real firearm, but what I learned, nothing like a real firearm. I haven't shot a airsoft gun that felt like. Oh, I take that back. I haven't shot an airsoft pistol that felt like a real pistol, because I will say.
I think the main takeaway here, though, for using airsoft for training is. I think it's really cool because personally for me, I do follow a lot of like real gun or like tactical whatever channels and stuff on YouTube or on social media.
T-Rex Arms.
Yeah, and some of these guys are actually like tactics. Using and like utilizing or taking advantage of airsoft for training, whether it is to do force on force training or, in my opinion, I think the best way to really train is the fundamentals or the manipulation of the weapons. So
yes.
Because airsoft weapons are pretty much like 1-to-1 scale replicas of the real thing.
Yep.
Right. Like it will still help you practice, be fast at reloading.
Yes.
Malfunctions or pretending to have malfunctions with the airsoft gun.
Yes.
Like drawing from retention, drawing from the low ready, high ready. Right.
Weapon transitions. Yep.
Yeah. So these are all very important things that most people need to know how to do when using a gun well.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I think with airsoft, we're just not at a point there to a point where we can train for accuracy.
Yes.
Train for like aiming and shooting well. Unfortunately, the technology just isn't there yet. So nothing can really.
Oh, man, my high cap is pretty tuned.
Okay.
This boy.
Yeah, but I will say though, like nothing really will substitute shooting a real gun when it comes to shooting for accuracy. But I think as far as when it comes to understanding the manipulation,
yes,
and stuff, it's pretty there. Like I will say though the caveat though is because airsoft still is at the end of the day a different thing than shooting real guns. There is ways to like game the system, speed softers. So
Why are you looking at me?
there are things that
It's
you
you.
do have to look out for. So one thing that I do to practice at home is, I do get my reps in when I can.
Okay.
When I have the time, I do get my reps in, and I do practice, like doing reloads, drawing from retention.
That Bukas Bakken dry fire.
Yeah. But I treat my gun as if my airsoft gun as if it was a real gun. So
Mhm.
I understand how a real gun works. So I like even if I have like let's say an AUG and I practice a reload, I always just make it a habit to press that bolt release every time I put in a new mag, stuff like that. And I will say like training force on force and stuff whatnot with airsoft it can be useful, but the unfortunate reality is that the system again can be gamed. Right?
Yes.
Like if you go to an airsoft field, you hide behind a door or something and it'll stop BBs. In
Yes.
real life, like if you stand behind a door, like you're dead.
Yeah, you're blasted through the door.
Yeah.
But not only for weapon manipulation and like fundamentals, for safety as well. You can use airsoft as a training tool to show your kids or like siblings or family members to how to operate a firearm safely. With the basic firearm safety rules, it all applies to airsoft 100%. And I think that is one of the bigger like things that kind of gets overlooked, even though it gets talked about. It kind of just falls to deaf ears. But another topic, during the pandemic, you and I were very active, or at least tried to be very active, to keep everyone entertained. And how do you think COVID affected us as a marketing department?
So I think on the creative side, when I first started working here, and also for leading up to the pandemic, the bulk majority of our content were gun reviews.
Yes.
So we'd be highlighting a product, especially like new product that's been coming in.
Mhm.
Then with the pandemic, unfortunately, we didn't have that.
Yep.
So actually, having a new gun to talk about was a treat.
Yeah, it was a commodity.
Not a commodity. It was.
I'm sorry, I don't know the definition of commodity. I'm just
it was
saying.
a very rare commodity. It was a luxury. It was a delight to the senses.
I don't know why I
if you
said
will.
commodity. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh god. Okay, so yeah, it did force us to be a little bit more creative.
Yes.
So I believe that like some of the first videos that we created were like pandemic style, like
Yeah,
quarantine
loadouts.
style
Yes, I do remember that.
I mean, it was pretty fun. We got to like explore different areas or different kind of like we were able to kind of role play
Yeah.
like an end of the world apocalypse scenario. and
Yeah, we all
whatnot.
played different scenarios.
Yeah. Different strategies, which was really cool. I was helping some of the guys kind of come up with or think of
Yep.
different like apocalypse strategies. And yeah, so that was pretty fun. That's also when we started doing roast my build.
I was about to say
Yeah, roast my build. So
that was the
yeah,
birth.
yeah,
so
which I think it was
it was
really
birthed in
great.
a bad time.
Yeah, it was really great because at the end of the day, we want to put the focus and attention on you guys,
Yeah.
and especially if you guys have a chance to get involved with our content creation. I mean, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And, I think it's something that definitely works because people like watching Cisco suffer. Or watching people
Yes.
suffer
Well,
at his
you know,
expense.
Well, we all know Brendan Herrera, and he has his gun meme review and his cursed gun images, and that was kind of our play on it, where our airsoft version of it. And we have always wanted to be more community oriented, right? So we wanted to find ways to get you guys listening, watching, more involved, which is, why we, did that. And it was really cool because you guys took it very well, which is kind of weird. It's both a sadistic and masochistic type of thing where, like, you guys like watching me suffer, but I'm roasting your gun. So I don't know.
It's a give and take. People.
Yeah, it's a give
and take.
It is a give and take. But I will say that because of the lack of new products, the only company really coming out with new products throughout the year was G&G.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it.
Yeah,
But they
Man.
did it.
they did it. They
Yeah.
did it somehow. And but that gave us something to do, like that we do normally, which we still do. We want to provide the correct information for you guys and the information that we have available. And of course, over time, you get more information as the product's being used, some faults of the product, some benefits of the product, and yeah, I mean, now that 2021 has come around, we're still seeing the lack of new products, but occasionally we are getting something new to show you guys, like the Jag Arms Master Key. We weren't supposed to show you that to you guys because we have no information about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
I'm
Jag,
surprised
I'm sorry.
that we haven't gotten like an angry email yet.
Yeah, Jag, I'm sorry. Please don't sue me. But we wanted to give that to you guys because, like, even us, like, we're fiending to see the latest and greatest, the newest products that companies are trying to come out and renovate. Like, honestly, something that I think we'll say for another day is the Airsoft Innovations shotgun. Yeah, I want to see that, but we're talking about the pandemic.
Yeah, so I think overall, even coming out of the pandemic and whatnot, and like the hard lockdowns and stuff, like I said before, it did force us to become more creative with our content creation. And honestly, in my as a career videographer,
Yes,
and stuff, it is very refreshing for me to having to think about new ideas, because prior to the pandemic, it was very repetitive. It was very formulaic as to how we styled our reviews, and it's just gun after gun after gun after gun.
yes.
And it for me it is a bit fatiguing. So I would say from a content creation side, definitely I was happy that we were able to kind of think outside the box, tinkle outside the tinkle.
As a player, how do you think COVID has affected you?
It hasn't really affected me.
He has gone out to play.
I have gone to ever since any airsoft field is open, I will go out and play. I mean, I get to touch airsoft guns every day for work.
Yes.
I think it's one of the coolest jobs I've had so far. Is I get paid to touch.
Agree,
guns.
100%.
And and so our local field, Wildlands, they were. I know for a fact that they were shut down for a while, but there have been sporadic moments in time where they would be open. I would be there.
Yeah.
Milsom West also had an event back in, I believe it was maybe November, sometime in the maybe fall.
Yeah, last year.
Last year.
He just got back this past
I went
weekend.
there, and then this past weekend I went to another Milsom West event. So, how's it affected me? Not too much. I wish I could play more often, but unfortunately, due to my work, adulting and being an adult, I don't have as much free time anymore.
Yes.
So I definitely do not play as much as I'd like to, but the amount I played during the pandemic hasn't changed.
You know what I think has affected you as a player, though?
What?
Is that COVID money. My man has spent so much more money this past year because of the stimulus checks.
All right, let me tell you what I bought. During the pandemic. I have bought Ferro Concept Slickster. Okay. I have bought a ton of HSGI tacos. I have bought Tokyo Marui MWS. I have bought a Team 1D X-Fil helmet, the real one.
The real one.
I have bought the Agilite Tactical Helmet Bridge, which is also very expensive. Who knew some pieces of elastic and Velcro can cost that much?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think you got gypped off with that one. But
I've also bought tons of medical supplies for real steel shooting because I'm trying to consolidate my kit.
Actually, we should do a tactical gearheads on your new tactical
belt.
belt.
Oh no, it's coming.
His little IFAC is clean. I'm about to replicate it.
So so for me right now, I'm in this transitioning phase where I do real steel a lot more often than I did in the past, and so I want to consolidate my kit to where I can use it for both airsoft and real steel, and not really have to change much. So I did buy some basic trauma medical supplies just in case, in the off chance that an accident does happen. But anyway, that all cost a ton of money. I bought new lights for lighting setup.
Yeah, if you see the changing light in the background,
I bought new
nice
lights.
Gucci light.
What else did I buy? I bought a ton of parts for the MWS. Oh my goodness.
You
MWS.
and our former tech Will. I can't. I bought an MWS too, but yeah, we all kind of bought it at the same time because both Boaz and Will, they were on the fence about it, and I was like, if you guys buy it, I'll buy it.
That is some peer pressure.
And they were just like, oh crap, we gotta buy it, and then they bought it. And I was like, damn it, I didn't think
Let
you
me
guys
tell
were
you,
gonna buy it.
the running value for my MWS setup, as a whole, with everything included, with the mags and everything, it costs more than some of the higher end ARs out there right now.
Yes,
real guns out there.
His is pretty Gucci.
And it's sad. I will be doing a private collection once it's finished. I am still waiting on some parts that unfortunately have been impacted by the pandemic.
Yes.
So once we're able to restock on a couple of those items and I'm able to field it, I still haven't christened it yet.
Yes.
Field yet.
Which I'm surprised.
So once that happens, I will be doing a private collection.
Yeah. But Kevin, how did COVID impact you for Airsoft? Because you took a long break, and then when fields started to open up, you have been going to SC Village a lot, especially with like one of your friends who just got started in Airsoft.
Oh yeah. So I think I already touched upon it a little bit, saying that I'm starting to play outdoors more.
Yes.
But another aspect of Airsoft for me that happened during COVID was that I have a few childhood friends that started getting into Airsoft too.
Which is cool.
Which is so cool because...
How old were you guys?
Oh, we were like childhood friends. I'm talking like we were friends when we were 7 years old.
Oh, damn.
Like childhood friends.
And they just got started?
They just started in Airsoft. And being able to introduce them to Airsoft, like, you know, me knowing more about Airsoft than they do, you know, I can give them recommendations. I can tell them, like, you know, you should go this route. You should stay away from this stuff. And just seeing, like, them have their eyes opened into Airsoft and kind of be that, like, kid in a candy shop kind of thing. Having that experience for them was, like, it was great for me. Introducing new friends to Airsoft, always great.
Yeah.
But again, now that I've introduced them to Airsoft, they've been playing outdoors a lot more. So I've been playing at SC Village a bit more, and then also playing indoors with them more. So taking them to like Tac City.
Oh yeah,
like,
he just built his indoor gun.
Yeah, so it's funny because right when I introduced them to Airsoft, man, I hooked them in real good.
Yeah.
Like he went balls to the wall.
He dropped like a lot of money real quick.
And again,
like
I think that is also due to the stimulus checks.
Yes.
So yes, that did help out, but. I do feel a little guilty making him. I didn't make him, but I did make him.
I mean, you recommended what you knew that worked.
Gucci.
And then he was like, okay, I need that because it works.
Right, it works.
You yourself being a friend, he's like, I'm going to trust and take your word for it.
Right.
Which is really cool. But
Kevin, are you going to talk about all the money that you spent during the pandemic?
Okay, I will say I was actually a very responsible stimulus check holder.
Didn't you buy a gaming PC?
Hey, that was a necessity.
That was not
That was a necessity.
Didn't you buy like one of the top end graphics cards at the time too?
I got a hella good deal on it, alright?
Didn't you also
Isn't it
buy a
liquid
ton
cooling?
of
Necessity, alright guys?
Was the LED
tons
lights
of, like, tons
necessity?
of parts for your for your outdoor gun too?
This is becoming a roast of Kevin.
Didn't you also?
That wasn't even Airsoft stuff. He just like spent money.
Yeah. Didn't you also like buy or end up like getting a bunch of like new gear too? Like what's this like olive drab like the Ranger Green stuff?
Oh yeah, the new Speaky Bee
that was actually given to me.
Yeah,
by
that was a
CB.
gift.
Shout out Speaky Bee for sponsoring.
Okay, all right. You got that for free. Okay, but that doesn't
his
excuse
team
you from the
sponsored
fact
Speaky
that you spent a lot of money.
Yeah. Anyways, guys. Well, that's a good thing. And something that I have seen is that new players are coming out of the pandemic.
Oh yes.
And you know, a lot of people that were stuck indoors at home that weren't able to go out for months, they didn't have that social engagement, even especially like younger, like children, kids, like in their teens and even like younger than that. I think, being able to be social is like a big part of like development, and seeing like newer kids go out to the field. It's funny because the last time I think we played at Wildlands, a friend of mine, Clarence, he was wearing his Mayo Gang patch, and then these kids ran up to him and was, "Oh my God, the Mayo Gang! Oh, you like Airsoft GI too?" I was like, and then he was like, "Mayo Gang? What?" He's like, "Oh yeah," which is funny because the Mayo Gang thing, the trope came from the roast my build. Yeah. So, I mean, that was all from you guys. So
Yeah, I will say, though, like, Airsoft, if you really break it down, most of it is social.
yes,
So
100%.
So even for me, like, I mean, yeah, like, I like running around shooting people and stuff, but, if I get shot by somebody, I always tell them, hey, nice shot or whatever, and after the game, I'd be like, hey, like, what gun are you running?
Yeah.
Or if I take a look at a piece of the kit, oh, that's a cool pouch, like, where'd you get that? Or, oh, that's a really cool helmet setup.
Yeah.
And and then so we kind of talk like that, and even for Cisco's case, when he does come out to play with us, he only plays like 2 games total.
True.
Most of the time he's like talking to other people.
That's roughly
Either
it.
talking to other people, lending out guns, fixing other guns, or just overall helping all the players there.
Yeah,
He's more of like the soccer mom to Airsoft games. He's there to just support.
It's not that he's completely out of shape and he can't play more than 2 games.
No, that's. I mean, so when I go out, I try to make it a social event. So I try to bring out as many friends as possible, even friends that don't really have, like, don't really play. They're interested in it. They want to come out and play and experience it. So you guys have seen my car. I'll bring out like 10 to 15.
My man has an armor
guns
in his car.
I'll bring out, like, plate carriers, chest rigs, face gear for everyone. I have, my dangerous bag of like 100 lipo batteries.
The lithium bomb that you're
I literally have like a little gun bag, like a little pistol case, and it's filled to the brim. Like it's like protruding, bulging.
Do not recommend you
do not do that. Put it in like an ammo case or a lipo bag, please. I'm being very irresponsible, and I should probably get out of the building. But yeah, like I have all this gear and stuff, so I can make the best experience for friends, so they can get started, they can have fun, even if I'm not around. Like, they can get an airsoft. Like, sometimes I'll like some of my really good friends, I'll just, like, I have a gun that I haven't used in forever, and I'll just be like, yo, I don't use this, you can have this.
So
get your own stuff.
So I will say, though, just to kind of begin to wrap things up here, is that all in all, I think the sad reality of airsoft as an industry is it's we came out kind of very fragile.
Yes.
It's a very fragile industry because at the end of the day, we're a hobby. And so one thing that we ask you guys to do to kind of contribute to airsoft as an industry to keep this hobby alive and to keep it thriving, coming out, one thing that we need you guys to do is that when you guys go out to play, at a field, a local field, is we need that social interaction. So we still need you guys to be out there, be nice to each other, be courteous. Be courteous to each other, be friendly. There are a lot of guys who are out there that may or may not know what they're doing because they don't have the proper guidance, or they might not have friends like Kevin that know the ins and outs of airsoft. And we need each other to grow. So we need each other to kind of build each other up, so that way we can be just as invested in the hobby. Other people to be just as invested.
Definitely.
So whenever I see kids out there running their JPCs without any plates or whatever, flapping in the wind or whatnot, you
hate that so much.
Like I don't like the fact that they do that, but I don't hate them for it.
Yes, of course.
So for me, like, I'm always trying to be nice to them, because at the end of the day, these guys are going to be the next generation Milsimers.
Oh, for sure. Or Speedsofters.
Yeah, so I always think in the back of my mind, like, if I be friendly to these guys, like, if I be courteous to them and whatnot, that they will one day trade out their replica JPC for a real one and get, put plates in them finally. And, buy a set of, like, multicam or whatnot. And,
yes.
Yeah, and then I'll see them in the next Milsim event.
Yeah. I will say, outside of working at Airsoft GI, I have made so many good friends through just playing Airsoft. Even before I was working at GI, I have friends that I talk to today that I met at the field when I was playing with other friends or I was playing by myself. And, like, we just, built a friendship. We all have something in common when we're at the field, right? We all love airsoft, and helping the community grow in that way. Do not only yourself a favor, make you feel good, but do the other player a favor by helping them out. If you're on the field, you see that they're doing something, be like, hey, like, keep your gun up when you cut the corner so you can shoot immediately. Or, like, hey, duck, they're shooting at us. Just be a little helpful to the newer players. So,
or even just a
spread
compliment.
the love.
Even a compliment to, like, even like a little kid that's running like a cross-draw vest or something. We've all been there. We've had our beginner.
I think all of us have ran cross-draw vests.
Instead of like laughing at them, you'd be like, "Yo, nice cross-draw vest. I used to rock that." Or something.
Yeah.
And it will make their day 100%. Even if it's a stock gun, you say, "Yo, nice gun. That's a good base gun."
Yeah.
Like, something as simple as that will make a player's day, no matter what.
For sure.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. And then one thing that I like to do with newer players, especially if I'm like out there playing, is like, if I'm gonna be bounding from like one piece of cover to another, I always tell them, "Hey, cover me."
Or you send them out into the fire, drop fire.
No.
That's the douchebag.
That's messed up. Okay, but
no, you're not.
But I always tell the kid or whoever looks kind of like they're new to the thing. I say, "Hey, cover me," and they go, "Oh, really? Okay." And I say, "Okay, I'm gonna run on 1, 2, 3, cover." and then like they'll start shooting or whatever, and I run to my next piece of cover, and then I'll shout at them, "Hey, move up to me! I'll cover you." So now we have some teamwork going on.
Yep.
Like
Getting them
contributing
engaged.
to the effort. So I like for me, I know because it's very tempting just to kind of leave them behind because they don't know what they're doing or whatever, or they haven't played long enough. They don't really have the game sense, so to speak, right? But I kind of have to fight against that because like at the end of the day, I know better.
Yes.
That like I want them to feel the same kind of rush, same kind of excitement that I have for the sport.
Which is dope. But all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, listening to the second episode.
Before we end off, Kevin, would you like to start a tradition? Was it the controversial question?
Yes, controversial question. I'm gonna ask a controversial question, and don't have to go too into detail of what your opinions are. But after I ask it, I'll just have you guys give your very quick opinion, very short, very quick opinion, and then you guys can join in the comments too. Let us know what you think. But our very first controversial question of our very first podcast will be: should binary triggers be allowed on fields? Boaz.
Make it quick.
Oof.
Gather your thoughts, make it quick.
I think it depends on the weapon class. So I think I would like binary triggers to be on things like SMGs.
Okay.
Maybe something that would be considered like an LMG, but I generally don't think that I would like to see, not that things should or should not be, but I just generally wouldn't like to see everyone running around like regular M4 with the binary trigger.
I kind of disagree with Boaz. I think SMGs and LMGs should have full auto because that's what they're made for.
No, they should all have full auto.
But this is not the question.
No, yes.
Binary.
But binary.
So
yes.
in a case
Bring
where
back full auto.
All right, there you go.
Full auto all the way. But all right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in.
Wait. What about Kevin's opinion? What about your personal opinion?
Yeah, okay.
He has binary. Of course he wants it.
Well, I have binary, but doesn't mean I'm going to use it all the time.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah, depending on the situation, I think binary should be allowed in certain situations. But if you're going to be a douchebag about it, then...
I mean, that's always the cope, right? Like, when should full auto be allowed?
I just like having different weapon classes, because at the end of the day, everything shoots a 6mm BB, so there's nothing unique about it. So I think...
What if there were a binary sniper? So the follow-up shot would be dope.
Interesting. Like an SR-25.
Let us know in the comments, guys.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Yeah, but I'm all for weapon class. I like weapon classes.
I agree. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Dead Box podcast. Leave your comments below. Answer the question. Give us your opinions. Subscribe for more content. We upload every Wednesdays, Fridays, and have live streams on Thursdays. We're going to start doing these podcast-style videos more often. Yes, this suppressor microphone will change. Support the channel by going to airsoftgi.com and getting all your airsoft needs. Supporting them supports us and allows us to give back to you. Don't forget that we have our live stream giveaway gun going on right now. All you need to do is post a picture of you wearing a Mail Gang patch to Instagram. Tag us below. I'll have the rules posted right here for Boaz to do. Check out our whole video on it. Make sure you post before the deadline, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Join the Mayo Gang.
Mail Gang. Peace.
Yeah.